Calling from a 571 area code. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Sam. This is Dan from California.
Dan from California. What's on your mind?
Yeah, did you say you were only taking calls on a certain topic? I missed something.
Well, I mean, I just took an 818 call because I figured that was from about what we were just talking about with Newsom and 571. I was just taking a flyer.
Oh, well, I had a call on something separate from what you were talking about, if that's okay.
Yeah, if it's quick.
Okay. I have a YouTube channel, and I do debates and discussions. I was wondering, I've called you a few times before. I was wondering if I could post my calls to your show on my channel.
Sure.
Okay. Great. Would you mind if I say what my channel is?
No.
Okay. It's youtube.com/Dan Norton1, Norton. I'm an Ayn Rand fan. We've had a couple debates in the past.
Ooh.
And I wanted to talk sometime about the principle A is A. I called on a Thursday about a year ago, and Matt Leck wanted to talk about that. And the conversation got cut short, and he invited me, and Emma invited me to call back to talk about that on the day that you were here. So I'd like to talk about that sometime if you're up for it.
Do you want to talk about A is A?
Yeah, that's a fundamental principle. It's an axiom in Ayn Rand's philosophy. It's called the law of identity. And Matt was criticizing it by citing another philosopher by saying, in effect, it was an empty tautology. It didn't really have any content or meaning. But the meaning that Ayn Rand ascribes to it in her philosophy is that it emphasizes that reality is an absolute and it doesn't bend to your wishes. You can't just make things as you want them. Like if Donald Trump wants to have won the election, that doesn't make reality snap into line. The facts are what they are, independent of what he wants. Or to take another example, which might be...
Well, let me ask you this. Yeah. What if Mike Pence had been told by Dan Quayle, maybe. Hello? What if you gave an example of Donald Trump didn't want to win he wanted to win the election. What if when Mike Pence was desperately looking for somebody to tell him that he could do this, what if he had been told by Dan Quayle, yeah, maybe you can get away with it?
Well, and the point is that the facts don't change just on your wishes. So you might be...
What's the facts? What's the facts in this instance? Like there are some facts that don't change, but I mean, winning the election is like, that's not... He got less votes and he lost the Electoral College, but that could have been thrown out on January 6th. And just like, what facts are you talking about are indisputable, are completely objective? I'm curious about. I mean, certain numbers, certain facts are, yes. And so what's the point?
Just that you can't change those by wishing them away or praying. You know, it's often said,
Agreed.
Religious people will...
Okay, I agree that you cannot change facts if we could agree on what the facts were in a certain situation.
Who determines facts, though?
Well, that's the thing, is that, I mean, like, I think there are things that we could agree on are facts, right? Like, the world is round, more or less.
Yeah.
Right? And and that's not going to change regardless of us wishing it or praying it. Now, maybe we get hit by some type of large space object and, things break up and it becomes a little more jagged. But yes, okay. And so Ayn Rand was the first person to espouse that idea that you can't change facts by wishing?
I don't think she was the first to espouse that. But my point here was just that it's not an empty, meaningless statement. I was trying to explain what the meaning of it is in Ayn Rand's philosophy. Aristotle, he
I don't think you've done a
discovered.
good job, though. Like, I still think there are philosophers who basically say, and I'm not the first person to call it a tautology. I think it's just obviously tautologist. But I mean, like, there's number. It's not just one philosopher either. I think, like, actually, here's a question. What's the most prominent philosopher that accepts this besides Ayn Rand?
Oh, well, I think Aristotle by implication.
No, I don't think
accepts
so.
it.
But wait a second. I mean, Aristotle, I'm trying to work out my timeline here.
Right.
I don't think Aristotle accepted Ayn Rand's formulation.
I mean, it's an
I think
eternal
Ayn Rand
truth.
is inflating her own
but
sort
Dan,
of stature by comparing herself to
let
Aristotle.
me be more explicit in terms of like the import of this idea. Who cares? I don't think it's particularly profound. I mean, I think that there is an argument that yes, like facts are, I think like in our society, right? Like we're seeing like the how facts can be in dispute, even if you and I agree it is a fact. For instance, if you and I agree the vaccine is a helpful and important part of fighting COVID, at one point it's conceivable that our society doesn't believe that. And the idea that you can't wish it away is really largely irrelevant to any conversation about politics. But what is the import of that arguably not so profound statement that you're excited about? Like, why are you telling me this?
Well, I was trying to defend it against the idea that it's just an empty statement.
Okay, but let's say you defended that as not just an empty statement. Okay, let's just not litigate that part. Who cares?
Well,
what does that tell us? If it's not an empty statement that facts can't be wished away, what does that tell us about libertarianism or Ayn Rand or whatever?
Well, it doesn't tell you you can't deduce a philosophy like capitalism or objectivism from this principle. I think that's another kind of straw man that is often.
I've never heard any of what you're talking about, and I debate libertarians all the time, so I don't know what straw man you're talking about. But why do I care? Like, why, outside of like the intense regret that I'm feeling about taking this phone call, why should I not feel regret about it? Like, what have we learned? Like, what are you, like, what's the point of this?
Well, I mean, it's fundamental to everything. It underlies everything you think or do. Things have to be a certain way. I mean, you're assuming that your microphone is going to work when you sit down to do your broadcast.
Yes, and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, and then there's a cause for that. And you have to figure out what the cause is. Maybe it's not plugged in. And you can't just hope that it's going to work or pray that it's going to work.
So you're telling me that Ayn Rand came up with the idea that magical thinking is not real, and this is important because
apparently everyone else is magical thinking but Ayn Rand.
Is that what's going on?
There are temptations to evade the facts, and that's what this principle is designed to help.
You know what I think is going on, Dan? Is that you are evading a fact. And that fact is what you're talking about. No one cares.
Yeah. And it's wrong. Okay, I just want to. This is a philosopher. This is not a leftist philosopher, as far as I know, David Bentley Hart. And really, what can one say about objectivism? It isn't so much a philosophy as what someone who has never actually encountered philosophy imagines a philosophy might look like. Good, hard, axiomatic absolutes, a bluff attitude of intellectual superiority, lots of simple atomic premises supposedly immune to doubt, immense and inflexible conclusions, and plenty of assertions about what is rational or objective or real. Oh, and of course, imposing a brand name ending with an ism. I don't think that objectivism really, I don't think you've proven that it needs any more sort of respect than that.
Oh, is that what you're trying to say? That objectivism is real?
No, I'm not talking about objectivism. I'm talking about a particular aspect of it. In the passage you just read, I mean, it went by pretty fast, but I mean, a lot of people throw
replay this and replay it on your show. and then you can get it. But
This just in,
Dan-
Ayn Rand proved through her just like eternal wisdom that things that are true are true. I mean, man, you're really breaking my brain with this.
She was a welfare recipient. That's a true thing.
That
That's
is a
true.
truth, yes.
that is true. That is a true fact. That's a true fact, right?
That
Dan?
might be a case where you're trying to evade the facts, because what was really going on is she was getting back money that was coercively taken from her.
Well, wait a second.
Trying to
But
distort
in the
those
form
facts.
of Social Security,
Yes,
like everybody gets that money. Correct?
that is an eternal truth.
Well, it's not an eternal truth. And if someone pays into the system,
Oh, Dan.
then I think it's justified.
Oh, so is there
Dan-
context here, Dan? Is
Yeah.
there kind of just different
Facts aren't facts.
Weird.
perspectives?
It's weird.
so odd.
Facts aren't facts. All the
Wait a
time.
second.
It's so odd that you
Hold on.
don't-
Wait a second. We'll do something here. Dan. Okay. Is it a fact that Ayn Rand took Social Security?
Yes, and it's a fact she paid into it.
I didn't ask you that. I didn't ask you that. Did
Yeah, I answered your question.
Well, of course she had to pay into it. That's the definition of Social Security.
Well, she was forced to. So what is?
Oh, guess what?
Well,
Everybody
actually,
who
taking
pays
money.
into Social Security is forced to. So yes,
Yeah, and they
she
shouldn't be.
took
They
Social
shouldn't be.
Security.
She was forced to benefit from it.
Was she forced?
Yeah.
Was she forced to take it?
No, but she had every right to.
Oh, absolutely she did, and I applaud her for engaging in Social Security.
Her rights under the welfare state. Good job, Ayn.
Dan, this has been, honestly, like I have debated a lot of libertarians and talked to a lot of libertarians. I think you know that. This has been, I think it's impressive. And I think this is a fact. The most unproductive of conversations I've ever had with libertarian. It's not even entertaining.
All right. Well, I guess I get something out of it that you don't, and that's okay.
You
I
do
don't
get to
mind.
upload.
No, you do get to upload it.
By the way, I'm also not a libertarian. I'm an objectivist because I'm not an anarchist. Many libertarians at least are anarchists.
Well,
sure.
that
I
is
will
good
say
branding.
this.
That
I
is
will
good.
say this.
People care in your club. No one else does, though. I'm gotta tell you.
You just almost salvaged the call by extending my streak of having talked to almost 100 libertarians who are not exactly libertarians, or other people are not libertarians. So I appreciate the call.
All right. Thanks for taking my call.
Okay.
Weird.
Hey.
This libertarian is atomized. It's crazy.
It's so odd, yeah. It's almost as if their entire philosophy is anathema to any kind of collectivism.
Maybe a little bit too abstract.
That's the
Yeah.
thing, is it was a little bit abstract. It honestly, like, I had the amount of those. I mean, look, can we prove really that this is not all my dream?
No.
Right? Like, what if I wake up and all you people disappear? And all you people listening, you disappear. Like, you may not even be there.
Also, facts like climate change. I mean, I see facts get ignored, and like they can be inconvenient. What? You're right over there.
I was trying to do I was smoking from a bong.
Oh,
Wow.
That didn't go out that well.
I thought you were slurping. I thought you were slurping something off the table.
I thought you were having a medical episode.
I wanted to do the You're All in a Dream. I'm so high.
yeah, there you go.
I think
see
you're
it.
already high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're high on libertarian calls.
That was, I mean, I went through so many different emotions in that call.
I just kept thinking that he would get to something.
A equals A, and what I mean by that is capitalism equals the best. That's what they mean.
Objectivism, baby.
That's all they mean.